So here's the Battletech Tactica question of the day, putting it out there to my fellow mech commanders, and an excellent question following up on some of the comments from a recent vlog. And I've said this many times, and it needs to be said again. Thank you for the contributions, the Battletech contributions in terms of comments and feedback on my channel here, and of course over on my blog, because it gets the conversation going. As a mech commander, as a mech warrior, it gets me thinking. And a lot of this is stuff outside of my local meta. You know, fantastic conversations with fellow mech commanders. I either wouldn't think of this on my own, or even if I give myself credit and say, you know what, I would have thought of it on my own, it would have taken me a number of games to arrive there. So one of the goals on my channel has always been, and continues to be, how can we cut down the learning curve together as a community? If we played 20 Battletech games and we learned something, whatever that is, can we get it down to 10? Can we get it down to 5 by having this Tactica discussion? So the framework was, that's a way of saying thank you. Thank you so much for your contributions and the time that you spend on my channel, being a part of your gaming life. Okay, jumping into the Tactica question, but that absolutely needed to be said, that thank you. We've got a Locust. Let's set this up. You've got a Lance, straight up mechs. Let's say it's 2 heavies, a medium. Pick what heavies, pick what medium you like. And we've got a Locust, stock Locust. Lance versus Lance. That Locust is running around, and let's say the mission is head to head. What kind of threat is that Locust really? I mean, it's going to hit you with that medium laser. It's going to maybe zap you with some machine guns. To get really aggressive for some reason, it's going to put itself at risk, because normally the Locust is zipping around and running around. So the idea is the Locust is just ignore it. Just absolutely ignore it. And on a tactical level, if I'm running around trying to use cover, and even if I'm plinking away with that medium laser, not even worried about hitting, but if I'm running my maximum and I'm getting those modifiers up, one could say tactically, and they would be correct, every shot fired at that Locust is kind of a waste. If I'm firing PPCs or autocannons or whatever toys are on my mediums and my heavies, yeah, if I connect with that Locust, it's going to damage it. I won't say it'll one-shot it. Maybe 1 or 2 good hits will cripple it. But the odds of hitting 11s and 12s, those are shots that are wasted that should be going, quite frankly, on those mediums or those heavies. So don't even bother shooting at the Locust, because you're diluting your dice pool. And by ignoring it and focusing the dice on more solid targets, the Locust really can't even hurt you in the first place. Yeah, it could roll that headshot on the machine guns, but what's it really going to do? And I routinely follow that target assessment priority. And I learned this early on when I was like, oh, there's that Jenner, let me shoot at it. And I'm like trying to shoot that Jenner. It's running all around. It's not trying to engage with the lasers and the missiles. It's running and gunning. It's got distance. It's got speed. It's got cover. I'm shooting the whole Lance into that Jenner. This is early on. And I'm like, I did nothing. Next turn, I'm like, I'm going to kill that Jenner now. And I'm shooting again. 2 turns wasted of firepower. You start to learn from Battletech, where it's like, don't shoot at stuff that is very hard to kill, especially if it's a light mech. Now, a Jenner, you could say it has a threat, but a Locust, just ignore it. Side note, there are certain games, I'm not going to name any names, friends of mine that bring certain mechs in any category, the light, the assault category, or the heavy category. I'm aware of the mission, but I'm also aware that there's a mixture, a fusion of glory and pride that I need to be aware of. So certain mechs, when they show up, that I know my friends, and they are my friends, love, I got to take that machine out. The rivalry's there. The love is there. I got to take that machine out. Because if I lose the game, or that mech does amazing things, then I got to hear about it all week. I get random texts about how awesome the mech was. I get random comments, and like I got to wait a whole week before I get a chance at glory. So sometimes you have to really bring the hate on certain machines, because tactically it might not make sense, but there's some behind the scenes action going on. But from a pure tactical level, I would say don't waste fire at the Locust. But a counter initiation, a counterpoint, if we want to call up the vid screen and check everything out in terms of mech command, maybe if it's lance to lance, if we have a 8 or less, or 4 or less, or 5 to 8 mechs or units on the table, initiative is always important, but initiative becomes extremely important. And I know that Locust isn't doing much, but even with its modifiers, one could say that's the easiest machine to kill. It's just pure bubbles on the sheet. There's less bubbles to go through before you hit internals and before you core it out. If I can lose that machine, if I can kill that machine, and the same might apply if it was a tank or something light to attack, that means you are immediately down 1 initiative. And initiative, especially in smaller Battletech games, is massive. Is absolutely massive because it literally shifts the initiative with how things work. And to be down an initiative point immediately puts you more on the defensive. It makes things much, much harder, which is why in Battletech, when you lose 1 in smaller games, as soon as you lose that first unit, you're in a lot of trouble. That's why often it's better, even if you're not playing with force withdrawal, you take some critical damage, you take some serious damage, get the heck out of there just so you can keep the initiative even, or, the initiative 4 to 4 could still lose it. But we see even by winning it, as you start taking losses, becomes much, much more difficult. So the counter I would put out there would say, yes, absolutely ignore the Locust. Do not be firing off your PPCs and autocannons that are not going to hit. Fire them off at the slower, heavier targets where you stand a greater chance of hitting and also have to chew through a lot of bubbles on the sheet. But could we also say, if the opportunity presents itself, tag that Locust, in this case, the Locust, tag that easy to kill target and start bringing down that initiative. Your thoughts and your focus as a mech commander or a mech warrior, both sides, or is one side weighed a little bit more than the other?